thing. I make these long videos and then I gotta edit it. Since the beginning of December, it's now February 28th today, I've been boycotting against major corporations such as Walmart, Amazon, CVS, Quick Trip, gas stations in general, any store front that is not my mom and pop shop, that is not local, and place all of my energy into people and places that reflect who I am and where I am trying to strive towards in the future. I want to talk to you guys about why I'm doing that and what my challenges have been and what my benefits have also been. So I started this journey to feel closer with what I use and ingest on a daily basis. When it comes to what I eat, it feels strange to me to be sourcing from countries away, miles and miles away, even from Florida, which is only a few hundred miles away, for what I eat, especially when there are options that are in the state that I live in. And just after a while, it just kept getting more and more eye-opening to me that I was eating outside of the seasons. I was eating away from my environment so much that I just felt so spread out. And I wanted to feel closer to home and closer to myself, especially when it comes to products like lotions and hair oils or shampoos, conditioners, soaps, and hair gels. All of those things, I didn't want to use something that I didn't know what was inside of it anymore. Just in general, my skin is super sensitive. Like, I'm the type where even certain metals will have my ear breaking out, like, and that's happened since I was a baby. I used to have eczema really bad, like on my elbows and my shoulders and my arms, and like, all of that didn't start to go away until I took more care into what I was using on my body. So cocoa butter was always my go-to, but I was using that brand. I don't even know the name of the brand anymore. I haven't used it in years now. And eventually I started going to beauty supply stores. I would get my shea butter there, but even that, it just felt too distant. So now I get my shea butter from stores that get it shipped from Africa, or I'll get cocoa butter straight from the Cab Farmers Market. And I've just seen major differences in the way that I feel. So the next reason why, it was to implement and solidify solid support systems that are accessible without any industry connection. Like, I wanted solid support systems that are in my state, in my community, and not feel so dispersed and so out of whack if something were to happen. If Walmart were to shut down for 2 weeks, what would I do? Like, I need to know that. And I haven't been to Walmart now in a few months, so it's not necessarily that my support system is where I want it to be just yet. However, I feel like my self-sustainability is growing a lot more. So in these next few months, I can definitely see community bridging into and in between that. The next reason was to provide myself with quality and luxury that is honest to me. My idea of luxury deals a lot with where I'm at right now. Why wouldn't I want to be more like the healthiest version of the earth if this is where if I am what I eat and I eat of the earth, and to place on my body what is of this earth: cocoa butter, shea butter, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, black castor oil. If I'm to eat the rice, the quinoa, the peas, the carrots, the cabbage, all of these different things that are coming from soil, then I should want to know what these I should want to know how the environment is being treated, and I should be able to treat my environment justfully and kindly. And that, to me, is luxury, is being one with nature and seeing nature blossom in its fullest capacity. Because constantly living in an environment and enabling an environment that destroys the same thing that is sourcing my nutrients, water. that doesn't make sense to me. That's not luxurious to me. It feels like a waste to me to spend my time causing more waste than I am productivity or some sort of beautification to the land in any way, shape, or form, because this land gives so much to me. Just for me to feel and look this way, I should be able to give back to the land as well. And that is part of a definition of what luxury, like what my luxury stands as. So my next reason for boycotting is limiting my dollars with the 1% as much as possible. There have been way too many moments where we have all come to the conclusion that world hunger, homelessness, and all these other, name any illness, any problem, all these things that could have been absolved already, just based off of a fraction of what these very, very, very rich people have. And it hasn't been dispersed in that way because they're holding on to it by whatever scales that are in their leverage. There's only so much that I can see from where I am. However, based on the little that I do have a grasp of, I can't possibly understand why I should be giving them anything else, why I should be taking my energy and putting that into anything else that they have going on, when it's clearly not helping the world. It's clearly not helping my neighbor. It's not helping the person up the street that needs their diabetic medicine, that needs their new eyeglasses, that needs, you know what I'm saying, like anything. So yeah, I'm just taking my money out their pockets as much as possible, okay? And the next reason was I wanted to learn more about what it takes to keep myself healthy. And the last reason is to separate my livelihood from capitalism, which is a bit different than limiting my dollars with the 1%. Because when I say separate myself from capitalism, I personally see, in the same way that nature is my home and nature is my caretaker, it is the same way that I will be provided for by caretaking for nature, because they are my home and my caretaker. So by a building relationship, a completely built relationship on reciprocity, then inshallah I will be provided for. Like, you don't see a bird going to the office to build their nest. You see them gathering twigs and placing it on a branch little by little and securing their home for their new found family. And I get that there's a lot of conversation about we're not animals, and maybe that's another topic for another day, because I could talk about that. But I know in my heart, and I know by what I've seen, that the way that we live in capitalism is not, and I get now that we're like so far ahead and so far deep into it that it's like, well, how do we turn back now kind of conversations, or it's like, well, this is just the way it is. Most of the time people are still striving for what I'm looking towards, just in a different light. They're like, I want to retire early, constantly looking for their check out because they know we shouldn't even have had to check in. So yeah, some of the challenges that I have faced. The first is finding storefronts and artists and creators who don't support the companies that I'm looking to boycott. It is just so funny that when I walk into a mom and pop shop, they have the same exact stock on their shelves as what's in Walmart. Still perpetuating an issue by getting my Goya coconut milk. And that also leads me to, when I do go to the DeKalb Farmers Market, I still am gathering these like plastic on top of plastic bags, like whether it's Tupperware or it's the giant bags for like the chips and the coconut flakes. Like, that's still my food sitting in plastic for who knows how long, you know what I'm saying? And that to me is another form of waste, and it makes me feel contradictory. It almost makes me feel like, what's the point in some ways? But
I cannot believe a place like this exists in New Jersey. This is the first plastic-free grocery store, a place where you can refill all of your pantry staples, from pasta to beans to spices, they have it all. I stopped by to fill up some jars with some snacks. These gummy bears are absolutely incredible, and I also got some pistachios. And it doesn't stop there, you can also refill your olive oil, and yes, they have fresh produce. And everything comes from sustainable farms. And for your home, they also have laundry detergent and other soaps. Before you start refilling your jars, you're going to weigh them first, and then you're going to grab a tag, scan the tag, and attach it to your jar. And once you're done refilling everything that you need, you can take it up to the register, and you'll only pay for what you refilled. This is Dry Goods Refillery, located in Montclair, New Jersey.
The second challenge I've faced is explaining myself to people who don't understand. When it comes to people who understand, it's real simple. We're bouncing off of each other. It's a lot of yes, exactly. Like, it's easy. We just flow and we build. But when it's somebody who doesn't understand and they ask me a lot of why questions or a lot of how comes, I be feeling a little frustrated, I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, what do you mean you don't see what I see, you know? But I have to remember that I wasn't always this knowledgeable as of where I am, and it also shows me where I need to overcome on my speaking in general, because most of the time the frustration is not about me having to explain myself, it's that I don't always know how to explain myself, because I wasn't always given that opportunity when I was younger. I just see that wound come back up with this because of how close it is to my heart, and that can be difficult. That is a challenge. It's a challenge I'm more comfortable facing now that I'm in the third month, but in the first month it was easier too, I'm not gonna lie, because it was fresh. So it was like, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and here's why. Like, it was just easy to rattle off things. But towards that second month, it got a little confusing, because especially if people that I hang out with frequently would forget or something, and now I'm back to like saying it all over again, and then I'm like, why do I keep having this conversation? Like, I think it's also the lack of terminology. It's just that feeling of like, damn, do I even know this? Because I don't got no book page to cite, I don't got no author to list. Like, do I know what I know? And yes, actually I do. I at least know what I know. That's about it, you know what I'm saying? So I can only share with what I know and why I do what I do. And if somebody doesn't want to listen to me, that's a little different. Number 3, the third challenge has been declining certain gifts because of my boycott. So if it's something that I can outsource myself, or I have found other avenues to get it that doesn't directly support Amazon or, you know, any store of the like, then I tend to be like, no thank you. But here are some spaces that I would appreciate your support of if you are to get me anything in the future, or if you would like to replace this. And there's been some people who are understanding, and there's been some people like old school folks who have been kind of like calling me ungrateful by it. And you know, what can you do? You can't make everybody happy. I can only live with the peace of mind of my own. So I just do what I can with what I have. But it has been a challenge to even like voice my opinion. But if I'm too distraught over it, I take the time to talk with someone about it, and I have felt better, at least after having the conversation and letting them know, like, no thank you, but no thank you. So the fourth challenge has been facing my commitment. It has been really accepting the fact that I'm in this, and it's also showing me what would make me consider folding and why. Most of the time it's been cravings. It's really just been cravings, and that brings me back to learning about my body, because every time I'm craving something, it's specific times of the month, as a woman of course, and it's like, okay, so I'm not really fiending for this per se. My body is just lacking something else, and this is how it's communicating to me based on what I've already interacted with in my life. So if I were to move just based off of cravings, then of course I would be in that drive-through, I would be eating fast food again, I would be in that gas station or that Dollar Tree getting my little snacky snacks instead of being in my fridge concocting whatever magic that I can through my laboratory, my healing laboratory. Like, and it always opens me up more the next day that I push and just either go without or find a way to live within my new means. That does bring me to the fifth challenge, which is time constraints can feel like all or nothing. It can feel like if I don't prioritize my day correctly, because every moment really does have to be a lot more accounted for in certain ways. Like, I have a lot of lax time as well still, but in other ways, like, I'm constantly having to be on my toes, be on my feet, because if I lag just a little bit, it would have me in the kitchen like stressed with like dirty dishes or something because I didn't finish my whatever. So the time constraints has me kind of like, damn, should I just went and got that, should I just like how quick can I make this meal for myself? Like, cooking every meal, y'all, no joke, absolutely no joke, absolutely not a game. Like, this is not playtime. Cooking every meal for yourself and making it all palatable, making it all look appetizing and feel warm to your own vessel, that is not a joke, okay? And I've gotten a lot quicker, if I do say so. And I'm grateful for that. However, it's a muscle I had to build and retain. You have to push yourself to go even on those days that you don't feel like going, and then you start to notice like how much you like it. Like, you build a rhythm for it even if you didn't like it at first. Like, it becomes a part of your routine, part of your ritual, a part of your being. We are cyclic people. Swear, can't make this up. So yeah, it'll feel like sometimes, especially if I'm not even in a place to be eating out, it'll feel like, damn, here we go, back to this kitchen. Like, so yeah, that also brings me to the next challenge of the sixth. I feel myself face to face with my scarcity mindset. There are so many times that in the past where I can see that I've let the fact that I think I won't have another opportunity, or let the fact that I think that there's no other options out there for me, rule my choices. And in this boycott, it's showing me just how many open avenues there are, and how many open avenues there may always be, simply because it's so many avenues. Like, even if I wasn't going to the stores that I was going to now, again, there would be other ways. Like, I could learn how to forage today and be coming out here picking up dandelion roots or something, and eating straight from the earth, legitimately. It's still, though, even with the challenges that come with the different options, it's allowing me to break away from that scarcity mindset, because I don't need to look at myself and be like, oh, well, this is my only option, this is my only avenue. Like, no, you are so abundant. Like, you don't even see how many doors are opening up just for you, how many windows, how many car doors are opening up specifically for you and are made specifically with your shape and heart and mind. So yeah, just exploring different ways of being is helping me. And then another challenge, though, I faced is a lack of info on Black bodies by Black voices. I personally have been struggling to find full-fledged just anatomy reports from Black doctors. I don't know how to find them. I'm gonna just be real, I just don't know where to start to look, because I obviously know how to use Google, but there's only so much that can take me as not a med student. I mean, most of the journals that I've caught wind of, they're typically journals from white doctors who cut up Black slaves or Black people in general, and just harvested their bodies in order to find out what a liver looks like and things like that. And that to me feels like a lot to read and digest a lot of the time, and it doesn't really help me from what I'm really trying to see, because I want to hear about black hair. I want to hear about like melanin from a melanated doctor. Yeah. The eighth challenge though that I've come across is maintaining community when our practices differ. So I don't eat at like Waffle House anymore. I don't eat fast food. I haven't had Zaxby's in a long time. I think it's been a year and some change. And if you know me, if you knew me in a former life, Zaxby's was my one-two. Waffle House was my one-two. Like, bro, I was not really a McDonald's girly especially after I worked there. I figured out how to make my own lip gloss. This was like a year ago. I've been making this lip gloss for like a year and a half. I've been gatekeeping because honestly, I don't want to step into cosmetics until I have like some sort of security and somebody to test it, but not test it. You know, I don't even know the lingo for that type of stuff. So gate kept it is. I'll give y'all the recipe. That won't be gate kept, but I don't make it for people. Back to maintaining community. Facts. Sometimes it can be difficult if they're like, oh, let's go here, let's go there, and I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, it's like radio silence, high key. And if I bring up something, then it's suddenly like, so that's a challenge, but it's not a challenge because it's like, that's just what happens when you change. Your life is changing and your circle's gonna change. It's gonna reflect who you are newly becoming. But it's a challenge in the sense that I don't have a lot of people that I commune with on a regular basis. And like, yeah, being a loner is cool or whatever. Not really. Like sometimes, like I'll be real with y'all. Like I know I need alone time. Me personally, I literally have to recharge after hanging out with even just one person. But it's like, at the same time, I want to be able to hit somebody up and just be like, you want to paint together, and like it just be that. We don't gotta even go out. Like I'll bring the materials and stuff, but it's just been interesting, and that's something that I've been having to cope with and deal with, of living alone, being alone. Not like living alone, like alone, like in my age group and in my circle, you know. That's pretty much it for the challenges. Moving forward to the benefits, had to end this on a high note. Number one is I have been meeting new people who actually practice what I'm practicing right now and share my point of view. I've also been going to places that share my point of view, and that's been a beautiful experience, just seeing what my city has to offer and what they've been building on their own time, and like just being able to fall in and like gravitate to what helps me and what doesn't. And yeah, I'm excited to continue to go back to these spaces and keep learning and growing from them, and hopefully bringing back what I can as well. Benefit number two is learning more about my body. I have learned the most about my body in the past few months than I ever have. I've learned about why I eat at certain times of day, my circadian rhythm, and then my other, it's another one for women. I forget the name. Don't get me wrong, I'm just bad with names, but I got it in here. But it's like a lot of pages that I follow now on Instagram. Like when you follow one page, they suggest others, and then over time, like most of my timeline, even though I follow a lot of people, most of my timeline is suggested accounts or suggested posts. But they do be kind of right about the suggestions. I ain't gonna hold you, ain't gonna lie to you. And it just be drops of information, like bombs of information, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know this, and then it gives me another rabbit hole to dig through. The third benefit has been a new sense of commitment to myself and a new sense of awareness within myself, because now I have to be more proactive about what I do, what I say, what I eat, where I go, and like what I agree to. It's just a new challenge within myself, like a new boundary, and that is creating a whole new sense of me. And that's been beautiful to see myself blossom in that way. Like, I just love it. I love who I'm becoming. Like, I love how this feels, and it feels more natural to me. It feels righteous right now. And if I'm just being comfortable with this is where I'm at right now, and taking the tools that I'm gathering for right now and harvesting it and sowing seeds in the ways that I need to, because maybe this is who I'll be for life, or maybe it won't, and that is okay. Like, it's really just about experiencing to the fullest who I am right now and what I choose and what I chose for right now. So it's been nice. Oh, the fourth benefit has been centering myself in my practices and decentering colonialism in my practices. So when I say that, I just mean I'm not looking to be approved by some colonial standard. I'm not looking to be accepted by no like white man's beauty standards, and no white man in a black body's beauty standards, or white woman in a black woman's body's beauty standards. I'm looking to be myself and beautiful as myself, and I'm centering what brings me joy, what brings me peace, what brings me healthiness as well through it all. And that it does kind of go with number 3, but it's just a little different with, instead of getting perfumes, from even people who make perfumes and oils, I'm not getting their necessarily their products, because odds are they're using chemicals that I still am trying to step away from, and I'm instead transmuting my cells in my literal body and getting rid of all the toxins that I've had packed into myself for years on end, with just things that are natural and of the earth, and like using oils that are from plants around me, and are from like just avocado oil and like tea tree, and using maybe like avocado oil and peppermint oil and like cinnamon oil, and like how that can make me smell so amazing to the point where people are like, yo, what you got on? And I'm like, it's just a little body mist I made, some slight, like I get to do that now, and I get to do that in a way where it's like, yeah, because I centered myself in what I felt like smelling like today in that, and not be on somebody Victoria's Secret stuff, or like, because for me, that's just not what I want. I do love the way those things smell though, so it's not like I say these things as if to say like, oh, it's not to say like, oh, I'm looking at it like, man, fuck all that, fuck people who use it. That's not what I'm coming from, because I literally still love what Bed and Bath and Body Works scents be coming out to be. I just want to see how to make that while being kind to the earth, right? That's where I'm coming at it from, for myself. And I'm not doing it to sell it. I'm not doing it to make a lot of products about it. If I do wind up going down that avenue, then okay. But for right now, I'm just really trying to figure out how to get that right for myself. So that is another thing about separating from colonialism. I'm not looking at everything as some money grab, or looking at it like, oh, well, how can I get a check off of this? The 5th benefit is widening my range of options and my point of view. So I know I talked about in the challenges that I was letting go of black mindset, and that's because there are so many options around me. When I say that there are so many options right here at your doorstep, like certain keywords that you can search up right now is gardens near me, it's community gardens near me, it's farms near me. On Google, you can type in farms that sell blank vegetable, or blank, whatever. Like, I looked up today, like, farms near me that sell sweet potatoes, because without searching under every rock, you don't know what you'll find, and you'll just end up going back to what you're used to. And like, Publix is cool, I guess, But is that even real food anymore? Like, that's being called into question. Like, are we even eating real food when we go to the grocery store? And for that to be called into question, I think it's best I at least choose the fake food that's by my house. The soil that's right next to my house has intelligence that's built for me.
This is an entire aisle in the grocery store of unedible food. What I mean by unedible is it's bioengineered to link unconscious parts of your brain with a reward system that makes you crave these foods. Which this large list of ingredients right here, you can call it addiction or dependency, but this large list of ingredients is what is causing the problems. Now, if you live in the United States of America, you can see this aisle is a bunch of snacks and then just pure bread carbohydrate. The rest of this aisle is some sort of caffeine and or tea, and then we have peanut butters and sugars. Out of every peanut butter on the entire shelf, you have this one, which is one ingredient, not bioengineered. You come across the other American companies and you see hydrogenated vegetable oil, but really, there's your sugar, oil, salt. The sugar, oil, salt you can see in potato chips, which in this case carbohydrates, oil, salt, or in something with a larger list of ingredients, oil, salt, sugar. These taste really great to your taste buds, but don't feed your gut bugs. So when a lot of people ask the question, why are Americans so, American? It's our diets. You can see this entire aisle is nothing but soda and sugar. So look at food this way. When we taste something, it sends a signal to our brain where we say, wow, this is great. And then we really just don't chew and we swallow it. And then after that, all those ingredients are sitting in your gut. So for instance, when you see juice, well, do you know that it's really just 2% or 3% juice? Sometimes it's 1% juice. Then you really start looking at this and say, American company, corn oil, high fructose corn syrup, like what is even this made of? Does anybody know what neotame is? So once again, an aisle of sugar, nothing edible. Water filled with additional ingredients that really don't do anything for you. Then you start looking at the reality. $5 for this, or $2.97 for that, or $1.89 for this giant thing. You start realizing that cost is technically associated with health when you're shopping in these aisles. You end up in the ice cream aisle where it's just sugar and oil. And when you really start to pay attention, you know this isn't food. It's just bioengineered food, sugar, 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 4 different sugar modifiers. That's crazy. This entire food is sugar and things that bind together the sugar plus the food coloring. That's crazy. Gum, gum, gum. So now, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. John Harvey Kellogg created this and coined the phrase back in the day when we used to go to our radios to say, well, what's the new thing on health? Now we have independent research where, hey, I lived my whole life consuming food like this. No. You start asking yourself, why is all the food coming from New Jersey? Why is all the food filled with oil, sugar, and salt? Why does humanity, knowing alcohol causes cancer and reproductive harm, still consume it? You're able to derive one conclusion. It makes you feel something. When you drink just water, how do you feel? They've created a large illusion of choice, and here we are to show you. There's your carbohydrates, there's your oil, there's your salt. Over here in America, yeah, we are in trouble. Because the information box is showing us things like, this is insane. They market to us gigantic size of nutrients we don't even need, and food coloring. There's your sugar, there's your oil, there's your salt. Once again, an entire aisle of just unedible food. It starts getting really interesting when your fruit companies have to add red 3 for the cherries to be red. All I want everyone to understand is if you are what you eat, do not eat bioengineered food. It literally links together unconscious centers of your brain with a reward system that causes you to eat more and more often. You'll always be able to notice there's at least one or the other. There's sugar and salt. Here's another product variation, sugar and salt. And here's another product variation of bioengineered food. There's your sugar, there's your salt, and there's your oil. So I think one of the reasons America doesn't want this application is because I teach people how to do that. And you can see right there, all next to each other, sugar, oil, and salt. And honestly, they add it in there multiple times. Like there's more sugar, oil, and modifiers, high fructose corn syrup, salt, sugar. It's crazy. But always remember, it's not what you see. As I know you see vegetable oil right there. It's what you know about what you see. Because technically a soybean is a vegetable. But you know, where's the avocado oil? I see canola oil here, and I see a giant thing of canola oil here. It's interesting nowadays. There's your oil next to your pure sugars. So if they do get rid of this app, all I've ever wanted you to learn is this. Large corporation, 99% chance they put a bunch of ingredients you don't even need that's bioengineered to taste great. It does not feed your gut microbiome, therefore it will not feed your brain. And once you learn about sugar linked to brain-derived neurotrophin factor, or the food colorings that are banned in other countries, you'll then understand why every American company is filled with sugar, oil, and salt. It does not nourish you. It just manipulates you into chewing it, feeling like it tastes great, creating a feedback loop of unconscious behavior that causes you to continuously consume these generation after generation after generation. No one taught me these thoughts to think when I was growing up, so now you have them for you. And everything that I needed that didn't exist for me now exists for you.
So it's like there's even a farm across the street from the hospital that I was born in, and I was using herbs. I am still to this day using medicine from that garden, and when I tell you, it feels so powerful, so connecting, that it's like it's otherworldly, I mean. And yeah, you just never know how many options you have, bro. And there's even a lot of gardens that aren't listed on the maps. So just going to take a walk down a different route, talking to people in these spaces and asking them like, hey, this is where I stay, what do you know about that? Go to different libraries, different bookstores. Benefit number 6, learning a lot about what the generations before me were doing and like doing actively, because for the longest I did not know that grits was corn. Like, it's so much stuff that I didn't know because I'm just buying the box off the shelf. Like sometimes, like for a long time, I just didn't even know what plant came from what, and it's because they're taking the image away, they're taking the naturalness away from the process and just giving you like boxed goods and like packaged goods all the time. That is kind of like, dang, bro, I can't go outside and pick an apple off a tree no more. Like, my apple gotta come from fucking Peru. Like, I'm near Peachtree and I have yet to pick a peach from Georgia. That's dumb. That's actually crazy. Nah, I talked about that like a few years ago. Cause like, where they do that at? Why are y'all doing this? Why are we so comfortable with this? I'm not comfortable with this. Either way, it's nice to understand and see what generations just a few decades before was practicing, and how I'm taking my spin on it because of where and when I am. The next benefit has been practicing other creative ways of currency rather than just the dollar bill. Like, people just want to hear what will make them feel reciprocated, and it's actually a lot easier to give what you get and get what you give, because you just have to communicate more. And it's helping me. I know that I already do a lot of things with my hands, so this is a bit like because not everybody creates in the same way I do. However, me constantly being able to offer like, oh, I can teach you how to do this, or I can make you that, or is there something that you've been looking to get, and seeing what I can actually, maybe have already and give to them, like, that is a blessing. And that is a huge benefit of not just immediately being like, oh, here's $20. That could have been bus fare. You know what I'm saying? Like, groceries, anything. No, not even just groceries, but yeah, like a trade is always a go-to for me when it comes to peer-to-peer exchanges, because I get that some people will just want money depending on their situation. Like, people have debt, people have medicine that they need to get, like different scenarios like that. But if it's not that scenario, then being able to be like, hey, well, can we get back together then and work on a project that you're trying to accomplish as well? Like, that feels blissful, because it just creates more camaraderie, I think, within our spaces, within what we create. The last benefit that I've concluded with is treating my time and energy and treating my time, my energy, my body, and my dollar as extremely more valuable. Like, to get to my dollar, you have to really, really be worth that dollar. To get to my energy, you have to be really, really worth that time in that space. And for you to even touch my body, you know what I'm saying, you have to be, it's so on and so forth. It's a lot easier for me to kindly decline this or kindly decline that and just know better what I'm looking for. Like, when I wasn't practicing this, I'm not saying that I was like open and willy-nilly or nothing. However, I will say it's a whole different ball game now that I'm here with it. It's a whole different ball game now that I'm here with it, because I ain't never gone this deep with it. Like, I've had little dilly-dallies, little dibble and dabbling with what I want of this venture, but it's never been a complete hard stop on Walmart, on Target. I wasn't really shopping at Target because there's not one near, but it's like CVS. I haven't been inside CVS. I haven't been inside any place. Like Kroger, I don't shop there no more. Publix, I don't shop there no more. Like Quick Trip, I used to be in Quick Trip, y'all. Like, I actually really used to be in Quick Trip. Used to be in Zaxby's. Used to be in Waffle House. I would sometimes go to Wendy's. Like, all these different spaces, y'all. I don't even smoke no more. I don't be getting Rellos. Like, I don't even get tobacco. Like, my life is completely 180 to the point where it's like I can look at all the things that I've said no to and declined from, and made it a lot easier for me to continue to say no to something below my standards and just be simple in that. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is a long video. I do have a couple more long videos now. I think I'm starting to like it, but I do want to say, if you want to follow my Instagrams for tutorials or other tips, I recommend, because I will be posting more on Reels. I don't necessarily advocate for Instagram though. I definitely would like to find new spaces for us to share, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be online. So stepping into a zine scape, stepping into magazines in general, I don't want to like say too much of what I'm gonna do sometimes. I just rather just do it and show y'all. But yeah, definitely looking forward to connecting with you all some way, somehow. I'm still using YouTube while it's here, and yeah, I just hope to continue to live and be true to myself and be true to my goals and my plans, and build off opportunities that are right at my fingertips while they exist. I hope you guys do the same. I hope you found something in this video that you can use for motivation, or just even found my voice entertaining. I know the wind was blowing a lot. I don't even know if you heard half of what I said, but I hope so, because I'm not gonna re-record it. So yeah, it's up to me to edit this though. That'd be the thing. I make these long videos and then I gotta edit it. But that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. This is my herbalism journal. And y'all, sometimes I learn about stuff, but I don't even write it down. I have so many notes to like transcribe from my brain to paper. I just got homework. It's a cute little fit check. Nah, I love the way I did this top, y'all. I tied this scarf today, and it's the first time I did it like this, and I was like, wow, oh, this is happening again. Yeah, because I'm editing. I'm gonna edit today. I want to climb a mountain soon. Big tall mountain.